How's it going today, everybody? Mick back here to review JCW Lunacy number 62, which happened last night and took place on YouTube. I'm up far too early for my birthday, and it was a very long night, so I'm going to be doing a lot of reading off my notes. That's just the way it's going to be for this episode. So, show starts off with Russo, Vito, and Violent J backstage. And this is after a show recap of everything that happened last week. But this week's episode starts off with Russo, Violent J, and Vito backstage sitting at a table. Russo is basically trying to hammer things out between Vito and Violent J. Neither one of them want anything to do with that. And Violent J basically tells Russo there's just one way to settle everything. I'm going to pick a guy. You're going to pick a guy. If my guy wins, I'm reinstated as commissioner. If your guy wins, I'm out of here forever. 26-year history in JCW gone. Vince kind of reluctantly agrees to it, but tells Jay, I don't want you out of here. I just don't want you as commissioner anymore. So they both agree to it. Jay is going to find his man. Vince is going to find his man. And that will be the main event of tonight's show. So we start off match one, four-way dance. Suicide versus Shane Mercer versus Mecha Wolf versus Cowboy James Storm. The match starts off pretty quick. Shane Mercer basically goes after everybody and gives Mecha Wolf an exploder suplex, overhead belly to belly to Suicide. Attempts one on James Storm, but Storm blocks it and throws him off of the ropes. Gives him like a spinning kick to a DDT combo. Starts playing to the crowd a little bit and probably shouldn't have, because Mercer gets him from behind. I believe he gives him a knee to the gut or something like that, and then hoists him up for a gorgeous delayed suplex. The best way I can describe it is like Davey Boy Smith style, back in the day. Nice looking suplex. So Mercer goes after Suicide, but his attack is blocked basically by a Pele kick, which allows Wolf to do what they call the Gamagiri DDT through the middle rope, and that is a nice looking move. And he got a 2 count on Mercer with that. Storm attempts a whirlybird to Suicide, but Suicide wriggles out of it and does a codebreaker to James Storm instead. I noted that Mercer hits a beautiful second rope moonsault and battery once again, which really could have ended the match, but Suicide broke up the pin. I also noted that Suicide dives onto Storm and Mercer on the floor, but gets into the ring and is basically greeted with a knee to the nail in the coffin by Mecha Wolf for the 1-2-3 victory. So I'm happy to see Mecha Wolf get a win here, because the last couple of weeks he's shown really well, but he's lost. So this is the first time I've seen him get a victory since watching the show. Cool opening match, all things considered. We're then going to cut to a backstage segment where it shows Jay basically going up to Too Tough Tony and asking him if he will be his representative. Jay kind of forgets that Tony's all banged up from the attack last week and everything, and tells him, "No, don't worry about it. I'll find someone else. I'll go talk to Willie," and all of that later on in the show. So then we cut to another segment where Kerry Morton is walking into Russo's office area, basically to introduce himself, to fillet himself to Russo and tell him all of his accomplishments and this and that. And, he's got a lot of them, so he can do that. And then he basically tells Russo that he wants to be his representative in the match. He also makes sure to tell Russo that he pisses excellence. Kerry Morton, I'm talking about, pisses excellence. And Russo liked that, and he's like, all right, I'll give you a shot. You can be my guy. So tonight, we got at least one half of the main event figured out. It's going to be Kerry Morton. So that leaves Vince and Vito in the office, and Vince is kind of just giving it to Vito a little bit and tells him to get out of here. And then he tells Vito, you better hurry, the zombies are coming, or something like that. It's kind of funny, So that's that. I believe we go to our next match, which would be Hollywood Haley J on commentary with her dog Stormy. And the match would be Katrina Creed versus Big Al, Alice Crowley. Match starts with shoving, strong tie-up, pie face to Creed from Big Al. Big Al poses for the Juggalos. I put a snap mirror from Creed to Big Al, followed by a quick running splash. Creed picks her up, but Alice Crowley reverses this into a Saito suplex for a 2 count. I noted a nice striking sequence and nice spinning back fist by Big Al. I also made note of a nice little sequence from Big Al here, running clothesline to a fisherman buster with bridge for a pin of a 2 count. Big Al runs the ropes, attempts a strike but gets blocked. Creed throws her in the ropes, goes low for a spear, does a leg drop for a 2 count. She tries a driver to Al, but Al escapes and the ref is knocked down. Big Al gets a huge lariat to Creed, but leaves the ring to go after Haley J. And she kind of pushes Haley J to the ground and gets a steel chair, brings it into the ring with her. Big Al is about to use the steel chair, but Haley comes in and uses her Mad Ball as a weapon to the back of Big Al's head, and basically puts Creed right on top of her, and the ref gets up, and 1, 2, 3. Creed gets the win over Big Al. We're going to cut to another backstage segment where Violent J is going to talk to Willie Mack to see if he wants to represent him in the main event. But, you know, he's kind of not thinking, and he forgot that Willie Mack also got roughed up last week and is really in no condition to fight. Although Willie Mack says, yeah, he'll do it for him, Jay is like, no, that's all right, man. I'll find somebody else. Don't even worry about it, and take the night off, basically. So then we're going to go backstage to another segment. Vince is asking the camera guy to help him find Vito because they have a show to run, and Vito took off basically like a child. The cameraman obliges and ends up finding Vito like down in this little downstairs area sitting on the couch, and Vito's like, what the fuck are you doing? Get out of here. I'm waiting for Jasmine to come down here and all this stuff. And the camera guy's like, Jasmine ain't gonna come down here. So then Vito basically like, fuck you, get out of here. And he's sitting on this couch waiting when all of a sudden from behind him comes the Outbreak. They come up right behind him. They grab him and they have him in their grasp. Vito's wriggling and trying to get out of it, and he does. He loses his hat in the process. He also loses his jacket and he runs out. He gains enough courage to run back in and grab the jacket, but he leaves the hat, which the Outbreak end up liking comically, you know, and they put it on, they wear his hat and stuff like that. So interesting little segment continuing with the Vito and the Outbreak storyline. So kind of funny there. And yeah, moving on. Match number 3 is a tag team match. The Busted in the Brain, Jordan Oliver and Alec Price versus Cocaine and Stephen Flo. This match starts off with the wrestler Cocaine asking Stephen Flo for his baseball bat, in which Cocaine pulls his stash out of his pocket, puts a big old line on the baseball bat, snorts it up, gets a bit of courage, powder courage, and is ready to go. So, yeah, hard strikes by Cocaine. And then he takes his opponent's hand, which I noted, which was kind of neat, goes to the turnbuckle middle rope, walks the ropes kind of Undertaker style, does a springboard type move to a Hurricane Rana. This leads to him picking him up for like kind of a slide slam move, but he goes back to tag in Stephen Flo instead for a double team move, which was kind of cool, I guess. Alec Price comes in and sends Flo off the ropes, ducks a clothesline, and Stephen Flo nails him with a springboard stage dive, which was a pretty cool move as well. Keep in mind, I'm just getting used to watching all these wrestlers, so, you know, the moves and stuff that they do are pretty cool to me because they're all fresh to me, basically. Jordan Oliver causes a distraction, which allows Price to attack Flo from behind. Both men, Price and Oliver, in the ring and double stomping Flo in the corner around the turnbuckle area. Almost a double choke slam type move from Price and Oliver to Stephen Flo for a 2 count. It was kind of like a modified double choke slam in a sense. Quick tags in and out from Busted in the Brain. They apply a Boston Crab to Stephen Flo. Flo ends up reversing and getting the hot tag to Cocaine, actually. Cocaine has a very interesting style in the ring. So I noted one thing that happened. He got thrown into the ropes, and he basically did like a somersault over the top of the rope, landing on the ring apron, slid under the opponent's legs, and this would lead him to do basically a really stiff kick, followed by a tilt-a-whirl slam to Alec Price. Cocaine went to grab his stash once again, but it's grabbed by Oliver this time, and a scuffle leads to a rocker dropper and drop kick to the chin from Price and Oliver. Stephen Flo nails both with a top rope dive. This match ends with Stephen Flo on the top rope, Cocaine below him. Stephen Flo takes the stash from Cocaine, dumps it all over the top of the both of them for a quick pick-me-up. Then stage dives onto Oliver outside of the ring, and Cocaine nails Price with the Coke Slam for the 3 count. Winner Stephen Flo and Cocaine. We go to another backstage segment. Violent J says desperate times call for desperate measures. So we don't know what that means at this point. This will lead to match number 4, which is the JCW American Championship. Ninja Mac, the challenger, versus Caleb Connolly with Jeeves and the Ring Rat. Match basically starts off with Connolly being a chicken shit heel, trying to like get out of the ring and things like that. Then some nice grappling by both once he gets into the ring. And I'll note this, man, Caleb Connolly is a very good grappler, and so is Ninja Mac. Connolly cinches a deep headlock, I noted. Mac sends him off the rope, but Caleb shows his strength by knocking Mac down with a pretty big shoulder block. Caleb Connolly blows a kiss out to the Ring Rat. She approves. Connolly sends Mac off the ropes, and Mac's foot is grabbed by Jeeves for a distraction. Ninja Mac is certainly outnumbered in this match and being distracted on all sides. Headlock takeover by Caleb to Mac. Reversal arm drag takedown by Ninja Mac, I noted also. The Ring Rat distracts the ref, which allows Jeeves to run in and give a nice little karate chop to Ninja Mac, or a couple of them anyway. The distraction worked once again. Connolly with a fireman carry takedown to a knee to the back and the neck area and the shoulder area of Ninja Mac, transitioning to a nice wrist lock armbar, I put. So nice little sequence there. Ninja Mac reverses this and sends Caleb off the ropes, but Caleb ducks and clotheslines and hits him with a brutal knife edge chop. That's how I put it anyway, so it must have been pretty brutal. And this led to also a Blue Thunder Bomb combination for a 2 count near fall. Caleb Connolly puts Ninja Mac like onto the second rope and first rope area to choke him out a little bit. And then he distracts the referee a little bit so Jeeves can get in on the action as well. I also noted that Caleb Connolly then starts the overhead American Males clap. If you guys don't know that, go watch the old footage of the WCW American Males. Pretty funny, actually. Stiff chop by Connolly against Mac, who is on the rope. Connolly runs the rope, but is thrown onto the apron by Mac, who goes off the ropes with multiple handsprings to a backflip to the outside of the ring, catching Caleb for a powerbomb to the floor, but Caleb blocks it by giving him a double stomp to Ninja Mac. He gets Mac into the ring, and Mac is down, and Caleb climbs the ropes, but the Ring Rat and Jeeves are kind of on the outside of the ring area, right by where Caleb is climbing the ropes. And for some reason, the Ring Rat can't leave her hands off of Caleb and grabs his foot and causes a major, major distraction. So Ninja Mac nails him with a spinning kick, and he falls off the rope, basically. And this gives Ninja Mac the opportunity to climb the ropes, and he nails an absolutely beautiful ninja bomb for the 3 count, thus winning the American Championship. Brand new champion, Ninja Mac. Ninja fucking Mac. Great match. And I noted this as well. And go back and watch the match for yourself, because my bullet point notes don't do it justice. And you're not going to hear this from any other review channel. Nobody's going to give these guys the credit, but I'm going to give them the credit. I think this match was as good, if not better, than any match I've seen on TV from any company this week, in a WWE product, AEW, TNA, you name it. This, I'm calling it, man. This was match of the week, all right? I know, and you're going to hear my stomach growling, man. I had a late night. I haven't eaten breakfast yet. You know, I'm doing this first thing just to do it. You're not going to hear this from people. People won't admit it. They won't give any of these guys the props and the credit that they do. But God damn it, this was a really incredible, fun, fast-paced, technical at times wrestling match. And these guys deserve credit for having the match that they had last night. So I just want to say that. I find this match to be the match of the week. And that's just my personal opinion, okay? So, moving on. Backstage, Vito is seen ranting and sees one of the referees that he knows from back in the old, neighborhood or whatnot that owes him 10 grand. And he just walks up to him and he knows, I'm forgetting about that. I want you to pay up. So that's kind of a ongoing thread of a storyline there as well. Backstage, we show another segment. This time it's Barnabas the Bizarre and the Outbreak. And they're talking and chatting, I guess, the best that they can. And I'll note that they love wearing Vito's hat. But Barnabas tells them, forget the damn hat. Why not take everything? And tells them to go feast. Barnabas then explains his zombie antidote, which you've seen, in previous episodes, and you haven't really seen it for a while, but if you go back and watch some of the earlier JCW episodes, you will see this antidote. Barnabas basically explains what it is, and that it's an antidote for anybody who is sprayed by the Outbreak's mist, and who Barnabas decides to spare. So, that's that. Next up, we have the JCW Tag Team Championship. The St. Clair Monster Factory, Congo Kong and Mr. Happy versus the Brothers of Funstruction. Bell rings and Yabo pulls out his balls to juggle, but Kong is not interested and pushes him down to the mat. Back and forth fighting. Yabo runs Kong's head into Rumbo's boots, tags in Rumbo, climbs the ropes, and gives him a sledgehammer to Kong's head, basically, followed by some haymakers. Kong is still on his feet, though. They tag in back and forth, the clowns do. Yabo climbs the ropes and does another double sledgehammer to Kong, who is still on his feet. The brothers send Kong off the ropes, but Kong comes back hard with a double clothesline against them. So next is a double team move from Kong and Mr. Happy. Basically a kick from Kong led by a huge elbow from Mr. Happy for a 2 count. Kong tried 3 covers in a row on this, and some people don't like that, but I think it's smart because it kind of like wears the guy out like in succession, like quick, and that's exactly what he tried to do. He tags in once again to Mr. Happy, who uses his weight to choke. Yabo onto the ropes. Tag back to Kong, who does a modified Oklahoma Stampede, which I thought was kind of cool, but instead of slamming him onto the mat after running him into the turnbuckle, he basically just tosses his ass. So, pretty cool move. Back and forth fighting. The brothers take back over, doing a nice poetry in motion. Also a double clothesline to Kong outside of the ring. I also note the brothers are about to nail the whoop whoop driver, but the Outbreak hit the ring and caused a DQ. So there we go. Disqualification. This will lead to Barnabas the Bizarre coming out to the ring and cutting a promo, basically saying they make their own opportunities, to cut a long story short. Backstage, we see Violent J approaching Matt Cross, of all people, to ask him to be the man to represent him tonight. Basically apologizes for everything in the past, all of their fallouts and everything. He basically lays it all on the line, tells him he needs him right now. Cross ends up shaking his hand, tells him, all right, man, I'll be your guy. I'll represent JCW in this main event, and I'll do it the best I can. So there we go. That is our main event. Matt Cross versus Kerry Morton tonight. Cross wins, Jay is reinstated. If Morton wins, Jay is gone for good. Now we're on to the main event. Kerry Morton versus Matt Cross. Great match to start off. Back and forth wrestling. Matt Cross with a really nice wrist to arm bar. Also a hip lock takeover by Cross, followed by a nice backbreaker. Cross tries to go to the top rope, but Morton notices and trips him up, basically with both feet out from underneath him. And Cross falls on the turnbuckle on the back of his head and neck area. Morton gives him a really stiff knee to Cross, which leads to a slingshot suplex for only a 1 count. Kerry caught Cross with a really nice backbreaker as well, I noted. Morton works over Cross for a while. Matt Cross fires up with two clotheslines to Kerry Morton and a handspring elbow, followed by a cross cutter. Matt Cross then goes up and nails a beautiful shooting star press. The ref starts counting 1, 2, about to count 3. But Cross lifts up Kerry Morton from the mat, basically gives him a couple of kicks, and then Matt Cross himself lays down on the mat and allows Morton to pin him for the 3. Double crossing Violent J, allowing Kerry Morton to win, which means Vince Russo has won basically, and Violent J is no longer a part of JCW. We then cut to Violent J backstage in his dressing room area, irate, pissed off, completely destroying everything, throwing the TV around, throwing chairs around, and that's where the show goes off the air. Cool show, all things considered, start to finish. Action-packed, exciting, cool storyline threads throughout, and that's really all I have to say about it this week. I thank you guys for watching it, and please give the video a like because that helps it out. It helps people get notice to this. Share the video and all that good stuff. As always, thanks for watching, guys. I know I'm not the most professional, but I try and do my best, man. I really do. So thanks for watching again, guys, and we'll see you the next time around next week. So can't wait, man. Looking forward to it once again. Good job, Russo. Good job, Vito. Good job, Morton. Good job, everybody involved, man. You guys have a hell of a good thing going. Take it easy, man. Have a nice day.